This is John Henry Westen for LifeSite News, bringing you breaking news from Munich, Germany, where U.S. Vice President JD Vance delivered a speech which is blowing up the internet. He called out European restrictions on freedom of speech to their faces. But he said something rather hard to believe. In addition to calling out England for fining people for praying silently outside abortion clinics, he said that in Scotland, people could be charged even for praying inside their own homes. Now, that sounded insane and beyond even the most woke sort of restrictions imaginable. So we wanted to do a fact check of JD Vance saying this.
This last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law. Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizens suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat.
There's no way that can be true, or can it? Well, the local newspapers seem to think so. First, here is a headline from the major paper there, The Telegraph. Praying at home may be illegal under Scots abortion law. Well, then here is the local Christian Post with a similar headline. Praying at home may be criminal offense in Scotland under new law. But this law only went into effect on September 24th of last year. But let's not just trust the newspapers. Let's look at the law itself. And can we find that letter from police warning locals that Vance talked about as well? So first of all, as to the law, in November 2023, Scotland passed legislation allowing local governments to create buffer zones around abortion clinics or hospitals where they abort children. The law went into effect September 24th, 2024, and the zone goes 200 meters in every direction around the boundaries of the properties of abortion facilities. What the safe access zones are all about is this. This is from the law itself. Take a look. They're called safe access zones, and they are sometimes called buffer zones, says the legislation. They prevent certain activities around clinics and hospitals that provide abortion services. This is doing something which either intends to or is reckless as to whether it will influence someone's decisions to access, provide, or facilitate the provision of abortion services. But you'd have to be reckless. But surely private, silent prayer is not reckless, right? Wrong. This is from the legislation. Watch this. This is in the government handout. It says, and I'll read it for you and look at it yourself, examples of such behavior where there is intent or recklessness may include, and then they give those first three, but then read the last one, silent vigils. So according to the law, silent vigils are included in this recklessness. This recklessness, which is illegal and can lead to all sorts of fines, you being arrested, by the way. Okay, so now we know the law is nuts. But wait, we've not seen anything yet about what JD Vance said, about the most startling thing he said about people being arrested in their own homes, people being in trouble with the law for praying in their own homes. We do know that if those homes are within 200 meters of a boundary of an abortion hospital or clinic, they're in there, and there's lots and lots and lots of homes in those boundaries. But let's go back to the legislation to check out this thing about inside your homes, because that seems just nuts. Well, let's look. Here's the legislation. It talks about private properties in safe access zones. In general, the offenses apply in public places within the safe access zones. However, if someone does something in a private place, and in case you're wondering if this means a home, it says in brackets, such as a private residence within the boundary of a safe access zone, that can be seen or heard in the public places that are part of the zone, An offense could be committed if it is done with the intention of, or reckless as to whether it has the effect of, influencing someone's decision to access, provide, or facilitate the provision of an abortion service. Okay, going by their own definition then. Recklessness in the law is defined as including silent prayer vigils. So therefore, if it's within the zone, if it can be seen or heard, but you can't hear silent vigils anyway, but seen. So if you're praying silently and your window happens to be open and they see you, you can get a knock on your door, just like the silent people praying outside the clinic across the street. The guy who Vance made as his example, by the way, was praying silently across the street. The police approached him. What are you doing? Praying. What are you praying about? Yeah, I'm praying because my the aborted child my girlfriend and I had, praying for him. And that was an offense. And he's fined thousands of dollars. You want a full story on that, go check it out at LifeSite News. But so Vance's remarks that seemed so unbelievable, they totally check out. Well, at least so far. But what about that claim that there was a letter sent to residences within the boundaries warning them of possible infringement and telling to report on their neighbors? Really? Well, LifeSite got a copy of that letter, and I have it here to show you. Take a look. And there you'll read at the bottom, you can report a group or individual that you think is breaking the law by contacting Police Scotland at, and then they give the website. Wow. And you know what else is in this letter? Vance didn't even mention it, but it says, read this. Here, look at the letter again. The fines for offenses are up to an unlimited amount. And they actually mention that it goes up to 10,000 pounds, which is about 13,000 US dollars if there's an offense. But it can be going to an unlimited amount of fines. So this is unbelievable news. And it's so unbelievable, we wanted to do a fact check for you on JD Vance. So what's the verdict? JD Vance, the Vice President of the United States, was absolutely correct. He was awesome in his calling out of the anti-freedom, anti-Christian trend of the Europeans to their faces. And he did it also with a bit of humor thrown in. Watch this.
If American democracy can survive 10 years of Greta Thunberg scolding, you guys can survive a few months of Elon Musk.
For LifeSite News, this is John Henry Westen, and may God bless you.